Hello everyone, welcome to our 4-part YouTube series regarding the overview of all chapters of CAMS study guide. We hope that those who are preparing for the CAMS exam or who are thinking of attempting this exam will find this video very useful. This first part of video series will give you information regarding what is covered in chapter 1 of the CAMS study guide and what are the important things that you need to focus here. In this video, we'll also share you some tips and tricks that will help you to prepare this exam effectively and efficiently. Let us begin. This chapter begins with the definition of money laundering and its stages, as well as a small introduction to terrorism financing. You need to be very clear about what money laundering means. It is not just about converting illegal money to legal, but it is more than that. Also, you should be able to distinguish between the three phases of money laundering. Sometimes techniques of money laundering in these stages may be same, like buying real estate may be used in a placement phase as well as integration phase, but the distinction in the phases depends upon the situation. Then the chapter moves on with explaining adverse economic and social consequences of money laundering, which most of us know by now because of various adverse news regarding the money laundering and terrorism financing that we have heard or seen in the media. So there are no surprises here. This section is quite straightforward. Now we have come to an important section of this chapter, which talks about the methods of money laundering. Different financial institutions, non-financial institutions, and non-financial business profession either have introduced different products that are vulnerable to money laundering, or these institutions by themselves can be used as a vehicle for money laundering. Let us take an example of financial institution, which usually provide correspondent bank services to other banks. The money laundering risk here is that they know their correspondent bank with whom they are dealing, but they are unknown of the individuals or parties on whose behalf this correspondent bank carries transaction. Similarly, non-financial institutions like third-party payment processor handles the transaction on behalf of their merchants, but they are unaware of their customers. Further, non-financial business professions like real estate, casinos are more susceptible to money laundering than any other. For instance, real estate has a escrow account, which is like a pooling account where all buyer deposits their money, so that it becomes very difficult to trace a particular transaction. In this small video, we cannot cover all the facts, but you have got the general idea. The best approach here is to focus on the money laundering risk present in these entities and focusing on the mitigants for it. Next, the chapter follows to explain money laundering done through trade finance, which is mainly through the letter of credit. If you have a good concept of letter of credit, then you will have no trouble in understanding these money laundering techniques. The next part is about rising money laundering risk in new payment product and services like prepaid cards, mobile payment, virtual currencies. This may be little complicated if you don't fully understand about these products. Therefore, now it is a good time that you refer to Ulsberg principles, which explains what these products are, what are their money laundering risk, and how it should be mitigated. The link for the Ulsberg principles is given below. We Risk Simplifier team believe in simplicity. We have prepared study notes for this chapter in a such a way that it will be easy for you to follow. It consists all the section of the chapter, and for each section the important component is highlighted. Also, it contains reference to FATF recommendation Wolfsburg principles, Wikipedia, and other resources where it is necessary to make the concept clear. This will help you to save your time and effort by focusing on relevant materials only. For better understanding, it is advised for the first time you should read these study notes with your CAMS study guide. These study notes can be purchased by following the link given below in the description section of this video. Moving on, next section provides you with the information regarding various types of legal companies like limited liability companies, private investment companies, international business corporation. The important thing to consider here is that these companies are usually formed to hide actual beneficial owner, which is usually a natural person. This is usually done by creating a complex ownership structure or creating fictitious companies known as shell or self companies. You will also be introduced to the concept of a bearer shares. The last sections deal with terrorist financing. Here you should be aware of the difference between terrorist financing and money laundering, which is mainly the purpose and origin of funds. Terrorism financing is usually carried for an illegal political purpose, and the source of money used in terrorist financing may be from a legitimate sources like a donation. But be aware that the techniques used for money laundering may also be used for terrorist financing. Then after, it goes on explaining about various channels used to fund terrorists like Hawala or Hundi system, use of non-profit organization, and another mediums like crowdfunding. It also provides you with the techniques to detect terrorism financing. That's it for this video. In the next video, we'll talk about different guidelines imposed by different organizations like FATF, European Union, Basel Committee, as well as regulations imposed by US Patriot Act, OFAC regarding anti-money laundering and terrorist financing. Therefore, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you will not miss any notification regarding our upcoming videos relating to the overview of the chapters of CAMS study guide. Trust me on this. You don't want to miss any of these updates. So please hit the subscribe button now. Also, we have started discussion forum where you can put your queries regarding CAMS exam, CAMS study guide, or about our CAMS study notes, as well as general queries regarding anti-money laundering and terrorist financing. The link for this is also given in the below description section of this video.